So I went to the last council meeting of the year, supposedly. Now there's going to be another one because of the budget fiasco. But I went to that last meeting to support people that were going to try to create some initiatives to help with the animal issue in the city. It looks as if Laura Huchel, sitting council member, proposed there to be fines on people breeding. So let's take a look at the little clip that she discusses the proposed legislation.
Hugel.
Yes. Ordinance 5377, an ordinance establishing licensing and permitting requirements, fees, and penalties for animal breeding within the city of Johnstown to support animal welfare initiatives. So I have a motion, please. Second. Questions or comments?
I'll speak a little bit about this ordinance, and thank you, Attorney Willa, for your apology. It was just a lot to get this together, and it's an unusual ordinance. There aren't a lot of municipalities that are doing something similar to this, but there are some. Pittsburgh has some provisions, and Selma, California recently adopted a very stringent provision. But the intention of this is to try to combat, as some of our constituents said, the overbreeding of animals in our city. It's really truly out of control. This isn't intended as extra work for our police department, our codes department, or our DCED department to go out hunting for violators. It's a mechanism for if a well-meaning animal welfare individual or organization notices a posting where someone's trying to get rid of some animals, that we're able to just find these people and make sure that they're held accountable for what they're doing, and really combat the backyard breeding that we see a lot of, where people aren't doing what they need to do. This isn't intended to conflict with the Commonwealth's ordinances about kennel licenses. Those only apply to dogs, and you have to have at least 26 dogs. This is just really any circumstances where you're having or harboring a pregnant animal, or trying to transfer that animal's young, and just to really try to target that and get everybody at least on the books, licensed, registered, that's what they're going to do if they're going to try to make money off of that, that we just recognize that and get them licensed. The other piece is that proceeds from any of those licenses or fines, if you do not comply, would go to some sort of animal welfare effort. So we do have some funds set aside for animal welfare since we lost our animal control contract, but this would add to it and perhaps help with the establishment of a municipal animal shelter or some kind of grant program for 501c3s who are animal welfare adjacent. The other thing that this does is carve out an exception for 501c3 affiliated animal rescues who are harboring a pregnant animal. Often they're dumped on a rescue or an individual, and if you can say that you're affiliated with one of these organizations, you'll get your pass, and you won't have to pay this fee because you didn't intentionally breed your animal. But it's intended so that it's not so loose that you can just say, oh no, I'm rescuing this animal, when in fact it's yours. That 501c3 affiliation is going to be important to help that enforcement piece. So I know this is in early stages, and there may be some details to work out, and I did my best to work with recommendations from our legal counsel that I did get, but I hope that this is at least a start and something that the city's willing to work with, and I'm happy to provide any kind of feedback that I can or support for this ordinance. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Hugel.
Yes.
Arnone.
Yes.
Britt.
Yes.
Janakovic.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
King. Mock.
Ordinances for second read.
So Councilwoman Huchel had a lot to say. If you listen closely, as I said, I haven't read this bill because in the city of Johnstown you don't get that privilege. You have to file a right to know request, and then you're delayed for a month or two so you can ever see anything. So as usual, we won't be able to see this until it's passed, and then sometime after that. But just going off of what she said, if you are harboring a pregnant animal, you are now guilty of a crime in the city of Johnstown, according to this bill. So if you do not spade your female dog or cat, and it by accident hooks up with a neighbor, you're guilty. You're going to get fined, and I don't know what the penalties are. Now, let's say you're a rescuer, and you're just doing it on your own. If you take in a pregnant female animal and you do not have an affiliation with a registered 501c3 nonprofit, which these people are all about, these nonprofits, you're guilty. You're guilty. You have to be registered with one of their official nonprofits. You can't just be an individual rescuing animals anymore. If you're doing that and you don't have that affiliation, or say you don't follow what these certain nonprofits are saying, and they say you're not affiliated, and you rescue this animal, now you're guilty of a crime.
Right to jail.
Now you pay the fine. I know we need there's issues with the animal control in the area, but making another law that punishes people, we need to enforce the abandonment laws that we have. We need a line item for an animal control officer, and we need more rooms, and even other avenues besides the one to store and take care of the animals that are caught, because we're full. We don't even have an officer for the whole area, and the solution is now to have the police have another way to find people. I've had an animal that had a litter. I don't consider myself a backyard breeder, but according to this, guilty of a crime.
Right to jail, right away.
I have an animal it's a female that's not spayed. If they by accident hook up with a neighbor's animal, I'm guilty of a crime now.
Believe it or not, jail.
Are they going to catch the people raising pit bulls in the basement, which in Johnstown seems to be like the fad? I mean, skill shops and pit bull breeding in the basement. That seems to be what happens in the city of Johnstown. Are they going to catch those people? No. No, they're going to get me because I have an accident litter, and I put it online and give them away for $30 after I get the vet to check them and give them their shots or whatever. I'm gonna get fined and arrested or whatever this law has to say. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to stop anything because we need the laws on the books enforced. Here are two laws I'll post up for you. The first is from the state, the neglect of animals. It clearly says that the abandonment of animals is a state violation that they can enforce. The second one here we'll show you. This is from the city's own codes. Again, abandonment of animals is a crime within the city under their own ordinances. Which brings me to the conclusion again that they're not being enforced, because a lot of the times the animals are being abandoned, and I know personally when this happens that nothing really gets done. So as many of you know, I have a lot of rentals in the area, and unfortunately sometimes people decide they're going to leave their animals in the rentals after they move out or are evicted. I've had this done just recently with a cat. So I call the police, and they send me to the Humane Society. The Humane Society then tells me they no longer have the officer, which when they did, she was very good with the animals before. But now there isn't anybody. They referred me back to the police. The police then told me they'll look into it, and then I didn't hear anything about it. I don't know if anything has occurred or if they followed up with that person to see if they're going to file charges on them for cruelty or abandonment or anything of that nature. But I'm left with an animal stuck in a house that someone abandoned. And the reality is that should be addressed by the municipality. It shouldn't be just something, another thing dumped on landlords and property owners. So that's the issue. We need an animal control officer to come pick up abandoned animals from other people and not make people who break the law their issue, then throw it on to other people. We don't do that with anything else. We shouldn't do it with animal abandonment either. The interesting part of this is years ago when Councilwoman Hoochel first moved in, she lives on my block. She had 2 dogs, and they busted through her front screen door, I guess, when she wasn't home. They were running around the neighborhood. I have a fenced-in yard. I told my kids to keep our dogs inside, and I caught one of them inside our yard. And the other one, I couldn't for the life of me get that one to get inside the yard, and it was running around, going across Ohio Street, and I called the animal control officer who came down. We were able to get the dog. And I wasn't calling the animal control officer because I wanted to arrest it or anything. I was legitimately afraid that dog was going to get hit by a car, and I was trying to just catch it, and I needed help. I didn't have one of those sticks with the ropes or whatever, and the dog wouldn't come to me, and it was just running around the neighborhood. We had an animal control officer. I called, they came, we got the crisis underhand, and a dog didn't get run over that day, and it got back to their owner. Now, Laura never even said a thank you, but, I mean, whatever. I guess she didn't like me then either. But we used to have an animal control officer, and we don't anymore. Why is that? Why don't we have a line item? Let's take a look at what the line items are in the current budget that they so gracefully put up this, I guess, today. Let's take a look. So this is almost laughable. Here is the 2026 general fund right here. Post up for you. The animal control line item. The 26 budget. It's budgeted for $15,000. Well, opening up the coffers deep on that one. I guess that's a step up from the 24 and 25 year where it was zero. So $15,000. I guess, hey, they're doing something, so we should just be thankful for what we got. Let's take a look at this other line item for animal control fines. They have budgeted for the 26 years for fines $300, so they're swinging for the fences on this one. $300 in animal control fines. The 2025 budget was $600, and yeah. Year to date on 2025 was $152.70. Yeah, they're really, I don't know. The numbers speak for themselves. They don't really care. Yeah, you can say words to them. There is a major issue. $15,000. Here, shut up. Here's your $15,000. It's kind of like what they did with the $10,000 to all the neighborhoods so they could do improvements. And then people, they loved, oh, look, they gave us something. So probably people will be happy. They'll all get reelected again because they got $15,000 for animal control and said, hey, we did something. Well, there you go. Now, on the same note, the aggressiveness of the police to pursue me for a lawnmower that was left on a property. Of recently, someone left the property, and then 2 days later when I was cleaning out the property, some random person who was not the tenant started pounding on the door demanding items out of the house. And I told them to go away. I don't know who they are. They called the police on me. And the police said that they were going to file criminal charges against me for theft. And after we had a discussion, they realized that that wasn't an option that could be pursued. But they did pursue me, which if they would pursue animal abandonment people with the same will as they did me for some stupid lawnmower, we wouldn't be dealing with this, because as the one lady said at the council meeting on Wednesday, that when we have policies that do not punish people for breaking the laws, like abandoning animals, we basically put up a sign in Johnstown, the city of Johnstown, that says, dump your animals here, because you can do that and get away with it. So people will see that, and it's like dumping garbage everywhere. That people get away with it. They get away with dump animals, even when you have the name, birth date, everything about the person. They dumped it. You know it was them. You give that information to the police, and still really nothing happens. So, and even if something, they go after that person, the landlord or the property owner is still stuck with an animal. What do you do with it? I don't know what to do with it. So here we are. The people, the good citizens, are taking up the slack for a system of government that has failed us. And now, some of those citizens who have dedicated their time but didn't form a 501c3 nonprofit or aren't affiliated with somebody, now they're going to be punished. They're going to be punished and fined under this new law, from what I understand. I don't like that. That doesn't seem right. Now, do we need something done? Yeah. Should people be backyard breeding, and should we have laws with that? Yeah, I agree with that. The way they're making this one, it really needs to be put out to the public, and it's not like they're going to listen to anything I have to say anyways. But right off the top, from what was described, it seems like a bad way to go about it. So, till next time.